So far, I was chatting to our next performer, who is Amy King, a little bit earlier about the fact that I have a weird thing going on with my eye, and I can feel it starting to twitch. And we were talking about solutions to this before, and I feel like it's fitting that I do this now that you're coming up. So instead of being a man who looks like he's winking at you constantly, I am instead going to look like a dickhead. So.
Who are you?
I don't recognise myself. Right. I'm very, very excited to get to introduce you all to Amy King. Amy King is an award-winning writer based in Manchester. She was the winner of the Derby Poetry Festival Prize in 2023, has been published in Ink, Sweat and Tears, and is soon to be published in Under the Radar magazine. She ran the award-winning spoken word night Verbose from 2021 to 2023, and is currently completing an MA in creative writing at the Manchester Metropolitan University. I will say very quickly, I have always likened this to, like, Amy being so giant and incredible in the scene, like, her going away and doing an MA feels like a monk going off to the mountain to meditate, and she's like coming back with all the new wisdom to give all of us, and so I'm very excited that we might get a little chips of that this evening. Amy enjoys writing about relationships, lesbian culture, and her enduring love of Kate Nash. Please welcome to the stage Amy King.
I hate onesies. Hate waddling around the house like a lump of fleece when I need a wee. I hate tea made badly, with unstirred sugar, the colour of bed sheets. I hate unbroken spines of the literary kind and using the word fine to describe how your day's been. And anyone who rolls their eyes at 2 bottles of wine for a £5 in the offie, like it's not a cracking deal. And we haven't all been a Lamborghini queen at least once. I hate getting lost with only a Nokia brick in my pocket, or how often I rely on Google Maps to get me somewhere on time. I both respect and hate pigeons because they don't give a shit where you're standing. And I'm not a fan of empty dance floors, walls without graffiti, or falling over in the street without someone to laugh with me. But I like it when the sky bruises pink. I like reminding someone they're wonderful, a debate I won't lose. I love people with the word sesh tattooed on their bodies because I've met more than one and I hope there's plenty more. I love the north, pale ale and the Yorkshire accent, that oral embrace. I like your face and the way your laugh slips from your lottery smile. I love pie. Too much, you could say. But if gravy is my gateway drug, then throw away the key. I like the way you and me can turn a kitchen into Wembley Arena. Potato masher microphones and 2 left feet in slipper socks. I'm fond of silliness, big kid adventures, days spent sitting and walking and climbing and talking about our favourite Carole King song, or what our kids might be called. I don't mind being wrong, or reminded that I don't know all the answers. I like falling asleep quickly, waking up early to run into the sea before breakfast, and the way it feels when you call me your favourite poet. I love scones slathered in cream and jam, really bad dad jokes, and the way you squeeze my hand like it's the luckiest of pennies. Thank you. This has already been such a lovely night. Hello everyone. Hi, that was a poem called Kate Nash Hates Seagulls. I wrote it I just love Kate Nash. She released an album this week, it's very exciting. She's got 5 albums. People are always like, no, she's got Made of Bricks. I'm like, there's 4 more albums. Yeah, that's a poem called Kate Nash Hates Seagulls. I wrote it like 6 years ago, so some of it, like, very rarely will you catch me drinking Lamborghini at this point in my life, but I respect it. I don't think any of us should be like better than that in our like worst days. Yeah, I've been writing, performing poetry for like 8 years, and I kind of started out in like a spoken word slam poetry scene, which is quite different. I've had quite a journey with it. That was like a really fun way, I think, to get into poetry, and I learned a lot, and I write in quite a different way now, but I thought what would be quite fun, because I've got quite a bit of time, is to kind of go on like a bit of a... Someone compared it earlier to like Taylor Swift's Eras tour, where she's like going back and doing some of the old ones and the new ones, which is a funny comparison, because I think me and Taylor Swift are probably quite different women. But yeah, I'm going to start off with some old poems and kind of work my way into where I'm at now. what else going to tell you? I think that was it. Yeah, I'm going to read a poem next. It's kind of like when I used to do slam poetry. So if you haven't done slam poetry, you don't know much about it. It's sort of like, it sounds like it's going to be rap battle-y in like in a basement or a car park. It's not. It's dead polite. It's lovely. It's like sort of competitive poetry in a way. And yeah, people sometimes bring quite like emotional poems, quite powerful, like big poems. They tend to go down quite well. So when I was first kind of getting into poetry, I was like, I've got to write a pride poem. I've got to say something about being a dyke. If I don't, no one will know what I'm about. So yeah, I sort of wrote something around that. And like, again, this is quite an old one. So I was thinking about where I'm at now. I still feel very mixed about pride as I don't know, the way it's probably like made into like a festival now, when actually it's just a very big protest that's been branded in a weird way. It's like, why do Screwfix give a fuck if we're queer? I don't know, but here we are. So yeah, I stick by a lot of the stuff I've written about pride. It's an old one, it's called Pride Poem. If not giving a shit or a specific outfit, I wore my best version to Brighton Pride 2018, bopping nipple-covered topless to Britney in a field of queer angels screaming, hit me baby one more time, like, well, Britney, it's Britney, live. This bitch is sweating shimmer into sunburned skin, grinning stupid at the best friend who promised the first time we met that being gay is not the end of anything. I have never felt confidence though, like the group of glitter girls sporting "Sorry, I'm straight" t-shirts and rainbow faces, as if there aren't enough days tailor-made to fit them already, as if me being gay means that no woman is safe because I must have them all. Question: how can I have them all when I can barely maintain a stable relationship with myself? Exactly. I'm not saying you have to identify as queer to be here. I just think straight ally done well requires more than getting pissed with your pals in public once a year, wearing mass-produced t-shirts and snapping selfies with drag queens, because yes, gay looks great. When it comes with a parade and day drinking, anything looks good. If it comes with a parade and day drinking, the point is, if you can scrub it clean with soap and water in the morning, you haven't worn it long enough to understand why having a safe space to be yourself is so fucking important. If not giving a shit for a dance move, I'd have to give it to the hot pant hero I saw death drop across the feet of a man with violence on his lips and hell in his chest. If the high-vis didn't insist good behaviour, I'd have told him hate is a hobby that impresses no one. Intolerance is not something to be proud of. Love is a guidebook that needs setting on fire. Try and tell me what my love should look like or how it should feel, and I'll revive every single butterfly I've been gifted by a woman. And you will see that we are not so different. Britney is the only one allowed to call me toxic. I'm not ready to dissolve yet. I'm not ready to go home. Once pride is over, I white rabbit back to reality. My queer lost somewhere along the train track as if it were nothing but a trick I cannot master. And while there are so many worse things than being told you don't look gay or asked where your boyfriend is, the question still suggests to me I have already failed somehow. I betray my dykeness when I pass for straight. When I strap on a smile at family functions as my uncle spits gay like something far away, something to be afraid of, but I am standing right here. Even if they don't choose to see me, I am dancing right here in a field of queer angels to Womanizer, live. Below the curious eyes of no one in nothing but a skirt and some glitter nipple covers. And it doesn't feel like the end of anything. Thank you. We were a very lovely crowd. I hosted an event on Friday, which was lovely, but the crowd weren't giving me much. And at one point, someone misheard my name and got up and was like, anyway, I'd like to thank the host, Araf, for doing a lovely night. And I was thinking, oh my God, they mean me. That doesn't sound anything like the name Amy. And then I was thinking about it, I was like, that's definitely the word for like slow in Welsh. And it's just, been thinking about it for days. I'm like, who am I in my like, parallel world where I'm Araf? Like, what am I doing? Uncertain. Yeah, that's a poem. Again, I wrote it a very long time ago. I didn't look like this at the time, and I think I probably, it's very rare someone now is like, where's your boyfriend? But you know, some people don't assume things and get it very wrong. Cool, I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey now to my hometown. I grew up in a place called Grimsby. Not visibly many people who were queer in Grimsby. I know myself, that's probably it at the moment. I'm sure there are more. Oh no, maybe like 2 or 3. But yeah, didn't really see much queerness growing up. Kind of started coming out to people when I was like 18, 19. And there's one person I didn't get to come out to, who was my gran, who I think would have been fine. I think she would have been confused, and it would have been like a funny little thing. But before she passed away, yeah, we kind of spent time with her towards the end. And there's a few things that I think she kind of got a bit muddled with. One of them being my job at the time. So I used to work for a LGBT charity in Manchester, like, you know, gay profession, gay everything. It was very intense. Yeah, the job she thought I did before she passed away, it was very different. So this is a poem called Gran Thinks I'm a Priest. So I guess that's what I'll be. We have a little sip of water, it was weird. The care home staff were always like, how is it all going? I was like, fine, yeah. It's so strange, you can't correct a dying woman, can you? Like, yeah. So yeah, this is a poem about that. I have no clue why her potluck mind assigned me this profession. On reflection, I probably relied too heavily on Mum to relay life updates during months I was other places, which has not gone to plan, as I now live by the cloth, if you ask Gran, who doesn't actually say much anymore. Doesn't always know it's me as I'm walking through the door and says, shouldn't you be going? When barely 5 minutes has passed. Dad always says it's a cruel disease. And sitting across from her now, I understand what he means, pretending not to see how small she looks in that chair, where she grips the arm so tightly you'd think the room was spinning, her skin like damp tissue clinging to the bone. I don't even realise I'm crying till the tears are sliding down my neck and she tells me it's okay. And I think maybe it is in your world, because in it, I'm a priest. Which is to say, I have some sort of life plan you can understand. So when she mentions the church again, I bless her for asking. Chat briefly about a service I probably could give if I'd read the Bible, and she nods gently, intently listening to a life I do not lead, and I just keep wondering, why a priest? Why me? I wasn't even christened. How did this biblical conclusion come to fruition? I'd be a laughingstock once my hypothetical congregation cottoned on to my hypocrisy. I imagine that fateful Sunday, the disgruntled churchgoer having uncovered my lie and feeling compelled by God or pettiness to reveal it. I see him rising from his pew during the choir chorus to call out she's a sham, she doesn't enjoy hymns and was never dipped in a font, and God will pop down in that moment and say, I told you this would happen. And I'll say, I know you did, I'm sorry. I only came for the Dolly mixture oranges and to see how hope works when you stop poking holes in it. But now I know for certain I cannot turn this water into wine. I cannot share this version of me with her in the way I'd like to. I could still become a priest, but I think there are people better qualified. So best leave that possibility in this conversation, for this patch of patio where I am something holy, and sometimes sitting here, she knows me. And at any moment, her mind could wander back. We'll stop scratching at conversation like our best days are in the past, and when I finally stand up to leave, her words will land without hesitation. Amy, where on earth do you think you are going? Thank you. It's quite a nice end to that in terms of just things that have happened since she passed. And recently a friend of mine, best friend, got married, and when they invited me to the wedding, they were like, oh, also, will you do the wedding? We think your gran was probably onto something and you'd be quite good at marrying people. And it was lovely, it was so nice. I was like, I can be a celebrant. It was probably like the maddest thing I've ever done, but it was really good. Any poets in the room, if you ever get asked, it's actually all right. I think we've done enough reading in front of people that actually you can smash out a wedding. It's a bit of graft, but it was good. So yeah, that was quite fun. Cool, I'm going to read. I've lost track of time already. Oh, good, thank you, Ian. Cool. Cool. A little sort of silly one that one day I will finish. It is finished, but you know when you're just like, it's not quite, but one day it'll get there. But I like where it's at. So yeah, we're in Grimsby still. There's not much going on, unfortunately. This is during lockdown when I wrote this one. And I did see like a really funny article about somewhere that had opened up in Grimsby during the pandemic. And I was like, that can't be true. And then I googled it, I was like, oh no, it's a real establishment. And it kind of gave me a bit of hope for, I guess, like, I don't know, being a lesbian from a small town where it's predominantly straight, kind of, I don't know, as a community. I think gives me a bit of hope that, like, the queer things will kind of come out of the woodwork eventually. So this is like a place that genuinely existed for a time. I think it has shut down now, which is very sad. But this is called Drag Bar and Carvery. Which are not two natural friends. Like, although I do feel like in Manchester places probably do like a Sunday roast and drag, so it's not that weird here, but like in Grimsby that's fucking weird. So this is, I never got to go, but I was sort of like imagining what it could look like and really making myself laugh. So this is Drag Bar and Carvery. I hope Gloria Gaynor belts I will survive into a ladle. I want the YMCA but make it spell MASH. I hope my nan comes along in her Sunday best, conned by the promise of Yorkshire Pud's corrupted toes shuffling below the tablecloth to Kylie. I hope the drinks are cheap and served in Bisto jars, below a glitter ball so big you could look up and fix your hair in it. I want 2 types of gravy poured from leather boots, Northern Queens batting banter back and forth with dads who aren't sure what to make of this, but love their kids enough to clear a plate anywhere. We'll call it our church, call it Christmas Eve, but better. Call ourselves from the future to let them know we're still here, gorgeous in our resistance, and that the journey is a Moorish buffet of streetlights and stars. Call it sequined hope for the future kids who won't need to grow old living a double life. No one will question their beauty, try to mash it with their mallet hands. This doorway will holler, we want you just as you are. None of this will be hard while you're under our roof. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to do a silly one now. Not that some of those have been incredibly serious. Yeah, so give me a cheer if you've heard of the Otley Run in Leeds. Yes. Give me a cheer if you've done the Otley Run in Leeds. Fair play. How did you find it?
It was incredible.
Incredible. It is quite...
All 19 pubs, I think.
You did all... God, I think we did all of them, but I think a couple of them were closed and some of them wouldn't let me in, which will make sense when you've heard the poem. I'm not, like, unruly, sometimes. So, for those of you who don't know, the Otley Run is a pub crawl through Leeds through... Is it 19 pubs?
Yes.
Okay, the maths in this could be wrong then, but 19 pubs in fancy dress. I believe it happens, like, pretty much every weekend, maybe every day. We met some locals on the way who were like, this is the way I live. And it's mad, it's really mad. I did it a few years ago. For a friend's birthday. It probably was the longest day of my life. You know, when you're in those days, you're like, it just fucking never ends. But it was lovely. And 3 things happened to me the week leading up to the Otley Run, which like just made the whole thing a bit intense. First thing was I got tonsillitis. So like, you just don't need 18 to 19 pints with tonsillitis, do you? It does very. I went to the walk-in centre the next day and he was like, what have you been doing? And I was like, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. And then second thing was me and my girlfriend at the time split up, so again 18 to 19 pints. It ain't going well, is it? Like, you're feeling pretty done by the end. And the last thing was the costume I made, because I got late to the house meeting where it was decided what was going to be, everyone was going to be wearing. So I got the short straw. So this is called My Spice Bus is Better Than Yours. And it'll become clear why. Okay. The plan to stick to only drinking halves is abandoned somewhere between pub 3 and 4. And though I know a pint won't cure the scratch and claw in my throat, and the thought of her and what she might be doing, these things are not important, because Baby Spice has shaved his legs for this. Ginger has fixed the red wig to her head, and though Scary didn't order the right jumpsuit tiger print, it's close enough. And I've spent all week assembling not 1, but 2 parts of the best Spice bus that Leeds has ever seen, with a crisp Union Jack exterior, wheels and a roll of bus tickets that say spice up your life, because I'm extra as fuck. And we've had this book since January, so I'm sinking pint after half after Jaeger bomb, though my tonsils are the size of golf balls now, and the thought of tomorrow's hangover tries to creep in as we approach pub number 8, but I know that no hangover will be as tough as staring this bus to the edge of that bar through a sea of paralytic cheerleaders and human crayons. I keep telling strangers this Union Jack is nothing to do with Brexit. I remind myself that I am strong and stable without her. Because knowing your own self-worth isn't something to feel guilty about. But answering the phone during sex should be a criminal offence, so good riddance to that. And good God, how many pubs do we have left? My lemon soother smile and I review the scene around us, watch Posh as she spins with windmill arms, skimming the elbows of Power Rangers, dancing to a song that Ginger insists is Ed Sheeran because it sounds vaguely romantic. And the urge to tell Sporty Spice she is an angel in Adidas gets wedged in my gradually closing throat. Because I made a bet I won't cry today, which I will later lose in pub 14 when the back half of the Spice bus goes all queer-eye, inspiring Baby Spice to believe he is an absolute catch. I fight with a toilet cubicle door so I can sit and stop the world from whirling for a minute because I've been carrying this bus for 10 hours and both my wheels have actually fallen off and our zigga-ziggars have lost all their enthusiasm, blending into yawns as we crawl our way to the next, and though I really should have gone to the walking centre, and my ex probably won't end up in prison, and I'm definitely off my tits. The Spice bus is intact and my friends are a beautiful ensemble of shamelessness, and we make it to the last pub triumphant, slump our bodies onto chairs like heroes ending a quest, dressed as a very low budget Spice Girls with a bus that no one actually believes existed, and who knew this is exactly what I needed to start feeling okay again. Thank you. I love that poem, it makes me so happy. It was such a long day. I would recommend doing it if you ever get a chance, but I'm sober now and it would be a very weird day. Cool, thank you very much.